Report there. Joining me now, Congresswoman Sherry Bustos, Democrat from Illinois. She serves on the Appropriations and Agriculture Committees. Congresswoman, nice to see you again. Let's talk about the president's next big legislative item. That's going to be infrastructure. But after you saw the Republican opposition to the relief package, which definitely had widespread popularity among Americans, do you have confidence that not just infrastructure, but potentially any of your caucus legislative goals can be passed on a bipartisan basis?
Well, I have hope, and we always have to continue to try. Keep in mind, Alex, I come from a congressional district as a Democrat that Donald Trump won both in 2016 and 2020. There's only 7 Democrats left in those double Trump districts. So I can tell you to our core, because of the places that we're from, I'm talking to you today from Moline, Illinois, we understand the importance of the American public wanting us to work together. So I think we go into this saying we absolutely have to try. And if you look at all 435 congressional districts, all 50 states and our territories, there's no place where there are not these deep infrastructure needs, whether it is rural broadband or the severe deterioration of our roads and our bridges. Mississippi River's right out here to my left, and literally if I look out my window right there, I can see a $1 billion bridge going up right now from the state of Illinois to the state of Iowa. And I can tell you, we need much more of that all over this country. We've got to come together on this.
Well, let me just make an observation. If you manage to survive an election with Donald Trump winning both of the last presidential elections in your district, you're doing something right, and your people must really like you there, your constituents. But let me ask you about the reporting today from NBC News about how some of your Democratic colleagues in the House are drawing the line at working with Republicans, those who voted not to certify the election. Do you think you can't work with Republicans for the same reason?
Well, you know, I have a saying, and I always attribute this to Bobby Kennedy. I can't verify that it is Bobby Kennedy, but it's forgive and remember. I share that because it's like, look, we've got to, if we, as we move forward, and increasingly there will be a requirement that we work together because of our very, very narrow majorities in both the House and the Senate. You know, we can't forget what happened on January 6th. I was on the House floor that day. None of us had ever been through anything like that in our lives unless you're a combat veteran. And thank God we had some combat veterans among our colleagues who helped us get through that, along with the Capitol Police, who saved our lives that day, along with the National Guard, who helped give us a peace of mind afterward. But look, we've got close to 140 Democrats who didn't vote to certify the election results. I think that was incredibly wrong that they did that. I don't think it was not healthy for our democracy. But we've got to move forward. And again, that's where I come from. It's my politics to try to do my best to move forward and figure out answers to things. I think we have to, again, when I see some of these, I don't even want to bring up names, but there are some people who practice this performance politics as opposed to results politics. But we've got to get to results. I think if we look ahead to the midterms in 2 years from now, if we as Democrats are going to hang on to this majority, this very narrow, slim majority in both the House and this hopefully grow that 50-50 split in the Senate, we're going to have to show results. I think we can take a page out of President Biden's playbook and say, hey, let's get past the name calling. Let's get past the hyper-partisanship in Washington, D.C., and let's get results for the American public.
Yeah, change the tenor there in Washington. Let's take a listen to what Senator Barrasso said about the COVID relief bill. He said it this morning. Here it is.
To call this COVID relief is really false advertising. Only 9% of the money actually goes to defeating the virus. Only 1% of the money goes for vaccines. This is a Nancy Pelosi payoff to the liberal left.
What's your reaction to that? Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, she said wrong. 90% of this COVID relief bill goes directly to the constituents relative to COVID. I mean, how, for example, will this bill directly benefit your constituents?
Well, as we sit here and have this conversation, we right now have 113,000 kids who have not been back to school full time for the past year. It was exactly 1 year ago today. This is an anniversary day today where we had our first COVID case in this congressional district I serve in central and northwestern Illinois. We have families hurting. We have 26,000 children who live in poverty. This bill lifts children out of poverty. It gets kids back to school. It helps our small businesses that desperately need our help. I could not disagree more with Senator Barrasso. And look, it's time to get past this calling everything, a Pelosi plan or whatever they want to do. Again, I cannot be labeled as somebody who's, this far left, whatever his name calling was. It's time to get results. And this bill, despite the fact that we did not get any bipartisan support, is going to help our towns, our cities, our states, red or blue states, Democrats or Republican governors, and it's going to help give us a sense of normalcy. What was most exciting to me to listen to President Biden speak on Thursday was when he talked about 4th of July and how his hope that we're going to be able to get back together. I mean, it's like the first image that comes to mind for me is the old saying, Christmas in July. And when he leaned in and said, I need you, and he's bringing in the American public to say, we've all got to come together on this. I'll do a shout out to Senator Barrasso and to others. You know what? Let's come together. Let's be results oriented. Let's stop this name calling. Let's stop acting like everything about this is partisan. This will help Democrats. It will help Republicans. It will help families. It will help small businesses. And it does not matter whether you have a D next to any of those or an R next to any of those. Help is not only on its way, it is now here.
A reminder, we are all Americans. Congresswoman Sherry Bustos, thank you so much.